fire truck in here.
Gardner City Council will come to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a presentation, more of an introduction, I guess, this evening. David, if you would introduce Tim to the council, that'd be great.
Good evening. I'm pleased to introduce Tim McEldowney, who became the city engineer on December 5th. Tim comes to us after a stint with a private consulting firm as an office manager. Prior to that, project manager with the city of Overland Park. One of his little smaller projects, I believe, was 435 and 69 highway interchange. And prior to that, was a bridge engineer with several consulting firms. I just wanted to introduce Tim and let you all know he was here, and we're glad to have him.
We do have time allotted on the agenda. If members of the public would like to speak on items that do not appear on the agenda, or items that are on the agenda, not part of a public hearing.
I'm Harold Quains. I'm representing the Gardner Lake Association. I live on Lake Road 5. And I'm not here to complain. And that will be a breath of fresh air. But I do want to comment that the land buyout around the lake in general, I think, was a very good success and mended a lot of fences between the city and the residents. That was a very, very good move. More than that, I have here, we took advertisers and we made a calendar from Gardner Lake. And we made enough of them for everybody to have out at the lake, individuals. And we have enough that we want to share that with you.
All right.
And so if you'll allow me, I'll bring those to you. And if the meeting gets boring, you can look at the pictures.
Perfect.
With any more luck, we'll be looking at that. All right. These are all pictures from the lake.
I know, I know the eagle. I've seen the eagle out of Jim Shippey's house. Thanks, Harold.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
I'm going to leave one for Christy.
Oh,
She's not
well,
here.
of
She's on the
course.
phone. You might
All
leave
right,
it by
sure.
the phone.
You bet.
There you go, Christy. You have one now, too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fun.
Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda. Is there a council member who wishes to take an item from the consent agenda? Is there a council member who wishes, is there a motion to approve?
Move we approve the consent agenda. Second.
Motion Brockman, second Morrow, that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. New business item 1, consider passing an ordinance adding to the City of Gardner Municipal Code Title 5.20, Article 8, temporary cereal malt beverage permits requiring a temporary city permit and payment of fee to the city clerk for the sale of cereal malt beverages at special events within the City of Gardner. Maureen.
And that would be ordinance 2387.
2387, thank you.
And at the end of April this year, the Kansas legislature amended the state law relative to the issuance of cereal malt beverage permits for special events. So what we are requiring to do, or what we are required to do, is to pass an ordinance basically laying out the specifics that the state has presented to us. And part of this includes the proposed fee that we have listed in the ordinance. And I had gone and done some checking and did a little research on what the other cities were charging. And that's why we came up with a $25 per day for the event, plus the $25 state stamp fee that we're required to pay to KDOR. And we have very, very few of these. We had 2 last year at the beginning of April prior to this going into effect. So this isn't something that happens a lot, but it's narrowed it down. The permit is actually tied to the address, so of where they're having the special event. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I noticed it was limited to 4 per year per
Correct.
organization or person.
Correct.
And is that a state limitation or
It's
is
a
that
state limitation.
State limitation?
Correct.
What was the range of fees for various cities?
Gosh, you know, we had one city that charged $1. We had some cities that charged a little bit more. 25 was pretty much a little bit more than mid-range, probably 60%.
So for an event like
Like the Balloon Fest, for example.
yeah,
It would have been a 3-day event, and what we did last year was we just charged them the same fee that we would have charged for regular CMB, which was $100, $75 plus a $25 state stamp. So in this case, for a 3-day event, it would still be $100.
it seems awfully cheap. No.
Would you like to change that fee?
Well, I mean, it just doesn't seem like, it seems like it should cover what the extra duty costs would be, which I'm assuming when you have alcohol, you're gonna have more police officer needs and things like that. I don't know. Does that seem, I mean, I don't think anyone's not going to sell liquor if it were higher and say, well, we'll go to Spring Hill this weekend and avoid the Balloon Fest.
Could you speak to the fees that were paid by the Balloon Festival for police officers and so on?
Well, I don't.
You're gonna have to come to the,
Yeah, I lost my microphone.
Ray took his microphone because the one up here wasn't working.
Sorry about that. I do know that the Balloon Festival group did provide additional security. They brought in a consultant, if you will, of their own to assist the police department with some security efforts. And I think a large part of that had to do with the fact that they were planning on serving beer, as well as the large crowd that they had. I don't believe they paid any fees towards the police department or any of the authorities around that assisted with the event.
Christie?
Yeah,
On the festival for the CMB vendors, are they required to bring staff for monitoring?
yeah. Last year was the first year that we actually did that. We hired Great Hands, which was a summer firm, and they provided all of the people checking ID